Please subscribe my channel. The charity gala sparkled with wealth, influence, and fake smiles as my wife walked in front of me, looking confident and beautiful. I stopped near the door for a moment, looking around the room. I felt something was off before I even saw it. Then it happened. She walked right into my boss's arms, laughing easily as he pulled her in close and kissed her without thinking twice. Talk around us stopped suddenly. Drinks stayed halfway to people's mouths. A few guests gave awkward laughs, thinking it was some kind of prank. It wasn't. I could feel many eyes turned toward me, waiting to see if I would explode, break down, or storm over. I didn't do any of that. I didn't hurry forward or yell. I simply straightened my sleeve and took one slow step in their direction. My boss saw me then, and his smile faded a little. My wife turned to follow his look, and the color left her face. I said just one sentence, quiet and steady, with no anger in my voice. The nervous laughter stopped right away. The music cut off. A glass fell from someone's hand and broke on the floor. The whole room went completely quiet as everyone understood the evening had just taken a permanent turn. My words were not loud, but they hit hard. I said calmly that it took a lot of nerve for a man to act like that when the board had voted to fire him half an hour earlier. The reaction was instant. My boss froze, blinking like he thought he had heard wrong. My wife stepped back slowly, looking confused instead of proud. Soft whispers spread through the crowd like ripples in water. He forced a short laugh and asked what kind of joke I was making. I gave a small smile and told him he should look at his phone. His hand shook as he pulled it out. His face went pale as the messages appeared. Around us, other company leaders quietly moved away, realizing what was happening faster than he did. My wife reached for my arm out of habit. I stayed still. She asked what was going on. I didn't answer her. Instead, I spoke to him again, still calm. I said the ethics committee does not like open relationships between executives and the spouses of senior staff, especially when that senior staff member is the one who reported the wrongdoing. That word hung in the air. He tried to speak but couldn't. His confidence disappeared faster than bubbles in a champagne glass. The whole party stood still, watching a powerful man lose everything without any shouting or fighting. My wife finally found her voice, shaky now, and asked what I had done. I looked at her softly and said nothing. Silence worked better than words. My boss tried to save face, saying this was a private matter and we could talk about it later. I shook my head. I explained, still calm, that when betrayal happens in front of everyone, it stops being private. He stumbled over his words, looking around for support. No one stepped forward. People naturally step away from someone who is about to fall. I told him the investigation had started months ago. Evidence had been gathered quietly. Patterns had been watched carefully. Tonight was not about celebrating. It was about perfect timing. His hands shook as security walked up and asked him politely to leave. My wife whispered my name like a question she didn't really want answered. I told her gently that loyalty cannot be turned on and off when it is convenient. Her legs seemed to grow weak. Phones came out. People started recording. No one laughed anymore. The fancy party had turned into a real-life lesson, playing out in front of everyone. It wasn't about getting even. It was about settling things. When security let him out, no one clapped. Only silence followed. Silence is what is left when pretend stories finally fall apart. She tried to explain, reaching for me in a panic, words tumbling out on top of each other. I stepped back calmly, putting distance where trust used to be. I told her this wasn't the time for talking. She accused me of planning a trap, of being cruel, of embarrassing her. I answered evenly that embarrassment comes from wild scenes. This was simply clear truth. Guests nearby tried not to stare, but couldn't help it. Someone turned the music off completely. She asked how long I had known. I said long enough to stop fighting against what was real. Her anger turned to fear. She saw that she no longer had control. I told her she had mixed up keeping secrets with being smart. People close by heard every word without trying. Truth does not stay quiet, it spreads. I picked up my coat slowly, buttoned it, and thanked the host for the evening. Being polite in that moment unsettled people more than anger would have. I walked out without looking back. Behind me, no one managed to start normal conversation again. The party was still there, but it was finished. Outside, the cool night air felt fresh and clean compared to inside. My phone kept buzzing. I ignored it. Real closure does not come from long explanations. It comes from making a choice and sticking to it. Back inside, she was falling apart, learning how quickly people stop admiring someone when the truth shows up. I drove home steadily, packed the things that mattered to me, and left the rest behind. By morning, my phone was full of messages from coworkers, friends, and even people I didn't know. I didn't reply to any of them. Silence is not running away. It is the end. She came to the house later, eyes red from crying, all her confidence gone. She asked how everything had collapsed so fast. I told her it hadn't collapsed quickly. It had just stopped being hidden. She begged to talk, to be understood, to be forgiven. I listened without interrupting, then told her that forgiveness does not mean the person gets to stay in your life. That sentence hurt her deeply. I wished her well and truly meant it. Some endings don't need yelling, lawyers, or payback. They only need one person deciding they will no longer live alongside dishonesty. Quiet choices can tear down whole lives faster than loud anger ever could. The weeks that followed were calm. My boss disappeared from the news quickly. My wife disappeared from my future forever. I built new daily habits without any drama. Morning walks, good work, peaceful quiet. People asked how I managed to stay so calm through it all. I told them calm comes when you finally let go of false hope. Not bitter, just the kind built on lies. I never said bad things about her. I didn't have to. Her actions spoke clearly enough. Social invitations changed. Friendships changed. Respect changed. She tried to get her to tell me different versions, making me sound cold and calmness kept me they walked away. I learned that real power isn't about being loud or controlling others. It's about controlling yourself when everyone is watching and expecting you to lose it. That night showed me that dignity can survive even the worst public betrayal. When people expect a big scene and get quiet strength instead, they don't know who to blame. Silence becomes protection, and protection doesn't need to argue. Months later, the memory feels far away and no longer hurts. I don't think much about the kiss itself. I think about the quiet that came after my words. That was the moment everything truly ended. Not the laugh, not the kiss, but when I spoke calmly and chose to stop taking part. People still mention that gala sometimes, how the whole room went still. They ask what exactly I said. I tell them the words themselves weren't the important part. The certainty behind them was, my wife lost everything the moment she thought I would never do anything about it. My boss lost everything the moment he believed no one would find out. I lost nothing I cared about keeping. The party didn't end because of rage. It ended because truth walked in and would not leave quietly. That's what silence does when it stands with firm resolve. It doesn't yell. It doesn't make threats. It simply finishes things. And once something ends that way, there is nothing left to discuss, fix, or bring back.